It's time to unleash the expert. What is he an expert on? Relationships, sex, spirituality, and rediscovering yourself beyond the trauma. Get ready to unleash more purpose, passion, and pleasure in your life. Here's the expert himself, Mr. Brannon Patrick.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Brannon Patrick Show. I really appreciate the ratings and the feedback and everything that's happening with the show. So thank you so much. Today I have with me a very, very special guest. So I've had my wife on recently, and so now I have my mom on. So Mom, welcome to the show. And I'm going to call her Mom the whole show. So, but her name is Linda. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
She's really nervous being here. So
I'm shy.
She's shy, kind of. When you bust her out, like, watch out. She laughs more than anybody. And I do have her on for a specific reason. So people might be thinking, "God, Brannon's just inviting all his family members on." And the truth is I am, because they're awesome. And my mom is a bad A, and she doesn't like me swearing, so I'll just say bad A.
Thank you.
But she's been in the trenches. She's tough. She did really hard work for years. She raised 5 kids, and she's a counselor and really understands people. And so she's not just my mom, but she's a professional and has a lot of wisdom. So, Mom, good to have you.
It's nice to be here. I think I like the subject that you're talking about, and that's why I was willing to come.
Nice. Awesome. Well, let's dive into the subject. Okay. First, before I do, though, I got to say my mom, she gave me this thick hair. So I just want to thank her for that. Thank you, Mom.
You're welcome.
And I think my dad had a part in it too. He had some pretty nice hair.
He had really good hair. Yes.
So, anyway, so they have bestowed me with that. Not much else in terms of physical gifts, but
oh, come on.
I think you gave all those to Tyler. So, but today's topic is one that I think is really important and not talked about. And I think we can have a lot of fun with it. I hope that by the end of this episode, whoever's listening has some ideas and is motivated to actually go do some good stuff in the world. So what we're talking about is helping others and doing good for others. And it's an interesting thing, Mom, because when you go and help others and you genuinely serve with a heart that wants to serve, in a roundabout way, it's blessing yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's weird because you can't totally go do it for yourself, or else you're not really helping others, right?
No, you sometimes might question your motives.
Right.
You might say, "Oh, I'm going to go do this because, hey, I need the blessings, or I need to feel good about myself." Or,
why am I doing this?
Yes,
right?
Why am I doing this? And I think usually we do it because we genuinely love people. But that really should be the reason why we're doing it, is because we genuinely love people.
Well, when you're helping others, you're helping others. When you're helping others to look good, then you're helping yourself.
Yeah.
And you can create some good stuff in your life by doing that, but it's not going to fully be realized, the blessings of that, I believe.
Yeah. But I also believe that we need to be careful that we're always judging ourselves as only doing it so that we can look good in other people's eyes.
Sometimes you just got to get out of that voice in your head and just do.
Yeah.
Right. And not overthink why you're doing what you're doing or whatever.
Yes, exactly.
So I want to tell you a couple stories, Mom. Okay. So, well, first off, I want to point out the Mayo Clinic has identified 3 things that happen when you serve and when you volunteer and when you help others. It actually improves your physical and mental health. Imagine that. So, we talk about depression, anxiety, and a lot of people need medication, get on medication, but it's amazing if the medication of good sleep, a good diet, exercise, and the 4th one I would say is getting up and helping somebody else.
Yes.
Is so good for your depression. And it might be the last thing you want to do when you're depressed.
I agree.
but it can absolutely change the way your mind is working.
Right. I totally agree with that. And I think I've learned from you and Tyler that oftentimes we need to do the exact opposite of what we want to do. And when we're feeling depressed, we want to stay away from everybody.
You want to isolate.
We want to isolate because we don't like ourselves. And so we don't think anybody's going to like us either.
Right.
But I think it's really, really important when we feel depressed that we try to step outside of that. And that will give us a boost in and of itself.
Yeah. It's easier said than done. I know you and I
sure.
can sit here and talk and say, hey, go get outside yourself and connect with others while you're depressed.
Yes.
And a depressed person is like, ugh.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I've been there.
Yeah. You know what it's like,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But you've also been on the other side of that where you have stepped into connecting with others, helping others when you've been in a bad place. And
right.
what has it done for you?
Oh, it lifts you out, every time.
Right.
At least it gives you energy for a short period of time.
Right.
Well,
it does two things. So it does release dopamine in your brain when you help someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And it also gives you a sense of accomplishment and a sense of purpose.
Yeah.
And so there you are kind of wallowing in life
yeah.
and feeling no purpose. What do you know when you go serve somebody else or help somebody else? You get that feeling of purpose for life.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
So yeah, it improves physical health and mental health. It provides a sense of purpose. And the third thing it does is it nurtures and helps relationships. So
that's true.
When
helps
we
you connect.
Yeah.
It
I
really
mean,
does.
I like friends that serve me.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that sounds selfish, but awesome, selfless people are fun people to connect to.
It's really true.
And I know they got my back and I trust them and I know they love me.
Yeah.
And so all those things happen and I want to help them in turn and it's reciprocal. So it just blesses our life in that way as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So
it really does.
Yeah. Pretty awesome benefits.
Yes.
From
absolutely.
helping others.
Absolutely.
I think sometimes, Mom, we get caught up in, okay, I'll call it the doldrums of life. It's kind of mundane. You wake up every day, you got to go to work, you do your thing. And sometimes it's hard to stop and think, okay, what can I do different? Like how can I actually step outside myself and help somebody?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. I think that's really true because we're all so very, very busy and we're all raising our own kids and have our lists that we need to get done and have to go to work and spend a lot of time just surviving.
Right.
And, but I think we need to also give ourselves credit for that too, because we're serving in many, many ways when we're doing those things.
Oh, raising kids is helping others.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's service all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. But I'd like to break down with you just some little simple things that you can do today, right now, to absolutely brighten somebody's day, to cheer somebody up, to help them. Okay. And I've broken it down into categories.
Okay.
And so the first category is my favorite category, and that is food.
That's probably the best way I serve people is because I know how to cook.
Yeah.
And so I could make food. And sometimes I think, oh, that's really the only thing I do for anybody.
Hey, if that's all you do, Mom. But that's not all you do for anybody.
No.
But
that's easy for me. That's a service that is easy for me. So it's a nice check it off the list service. Right?
Just last night, I was like figuring out dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And we have all these leftovers. And so I just pulled the leftovers out and gave those to the kids and they all moaned and like didn't eat any of it.
Well, they like leftovers. Kids do not like leftovers.
I know.
Yes.
I know. And we had good leftovers too. But it reminded me of the week before when Jenny got strep throat and she was pretty sick.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of kept it quiet. Not many people knew that she was sick.
Yeah.
But the couple people that found out that she was sick, Casey being one of them,
yes,
my little sister Casey.
Yeah.
And then Jenny's friend, we had 2 people bring us dinner when Jenny was sick for like 3 days.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh.
I like to be able to hear about those kinds of things. Those are the funnest. Like if somebody's had a baby and your church is sending up a schedule so that you can sign up for having a baby, that's one thing. But when you just all of a sudden hear of somebody or something that needs a service like that,
yes,
that That
in the
is
in the
great.
moment,
In the
you
moment
catch
service.
it, you notice it, and you're there.
Yeah.
And to me, this might lead to a lot of my unhealthiness in my life, but food in many ways is love.
Yes.
I mean, to
Well,
cook
I
for
think
people and
that's
to
my fault.
yeah, right. So, but it's a great way to say, hey, I want you to feel good. I want you to feel of my love.
Yes.
Hopefully that love is in this food that I'm giving you.
Yes.
And-
What did Grandma do every single time you went down there? What was the first thing she would do when you'd walk in her house?
Oh my gosh, feed us.
Yeah.
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 What do you guys want to eat?
Yep. Constant.
Mhm.
Yes. She wouldn't let you leave without food.
Yeah. And then here,
Yeah.
try to give it away for you to take home too, right?
On a hot summer day, we'd sit down there after mowing lawns and I would say, and grandma would be kind of in the other room. And I'd say, what Rex? Rex is our little brother. What, Rex? You want a warm glass of milk? And grandma would, what? I'll get you one. It was like the middle of the summer, a warm glass of milk.
Like Rex would never want that.
No.
You're mean.
But I knew that grandma would be right on it to
Right
give
on
it to him because
Yeah.
And just things like her homemade bread and like you can feel the love in that food. And
It's true. I had yesterday I went to lunch with my friends, and one of my girlfriends just gave me a bag that said Mike and Linda, bon voyage. And I didn't even know what type of food was in the bag, but it made me tear up.
Yeah,
because she just thought of me.
Yeah, it's the thought
It's
that
the
really
thought.
matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not so much the food. The food's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get us wrong. Yeah.
For sure.
But it's the thought that really it feels good because they took the time to say, "Hey, I want you to know that I love you."
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I think food is one way.
Mm-hmm.
Another way that I really want to kind of dive into here are kind words.
Mm-hmm.
So I woke up this morning and the first thing that I looked at on my phone was a text from a friend that I haven't talked to in a long time.
Yeah.
And he texted me and he just said, "Hey, I want you to know that I listened to your podcast with Tyler, Real Talk Recovery, and you have just given me so much truth and so much help, and I just appreciate you so much."
Yeah.
And so I woke up to that.
Day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good day.
That means a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
Hearing that from a friend, and all he had to do was stop for a minute, and he felt the need to say that, and so he sent the text.
What did it take him? Maybe 30 seconds.
Maybe 30 seconds, and it really it's had an impact on my day already.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. And you can do that all day long if you're running errands. You can do that all day long. Wherever you're going, you can be kind.
Yes.
You can smile, and you can give a person a compliment.
I think that's a good point. A person you're passing in the grocery store,
Mm-hmm.
just a smile is
Mm-hmm.
being kind to them.
Yeah.
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 Or you could say, "Hey, I like your boots."
Right.
Yeah, don't be awkward, but
No.
or weird.
It still needs
But,
to be genuine.
that's what you're wearing is cute.
Yeah, and
That's
how many times do you get a thought in your head of something you might like to tell someone?
like,
that
oh,
is
look at
kind,
that
but you
beautiful
don't do it
baby.
because you
Yeah.
don't feel awkward.
Yeah.
But if you're thinking it, yeah.
I can
it's
almost
okay-
guarantee
okay
you that
to
if you
do
say
it.
something really nice and kind to somebody, they'll respond
Yeah.
in turn, right?
They're
They're not gonna hate it.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Exactly.
so a couple other things. So I went to Beto's the other day, speaking
Mhm.
of food. So that's a
Yes.
Mexican place.
Yes.
I went through the line, I got a burrito,
Mm-hmm.
and I swear I got it in like 2 minutes. It was like boom, and it was like
Sweet.
hot and good and just like awesome.
Nice.
And so I was in the drive-through and I pulled into the parking lot and I stopped before I ate the burrito, and I took 2 minutes and I gave them a 5-star review and just said their service was awesome.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
That's one I could do.
That's
Because I didn't think of the tech thing, but yeah, sure, use it.
as a business owner, like I can tell you, it matters to get those
Yes.
reviews, and like they earned it.
Yeah.
They absolutely earned it. It was awesome. Thank you.
Right.
For every one bad review can like wipe out 10 good ones.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so these businesses, they need us to buoy them up with kind
With the good
words and
words.
good reviews. So
Yeah, especially if there's just all truth to it.
yeah, it's truth.
Yeah.
And Google has made it so simple and so easy.
Yeah.
And so I would challenge anybody to stop today. In fact, I went to my accountant yesterday and he like eased our troubled mind a lot and gave us some good guidance. And
Yeah.
Nathan over at DBN Tax, I'm going to give him a good review today, 5 stars, and talk him up because he was awesome. And he
Yes.
helped us a ton.
Yes.
And so, yeah, something simple like that.
Yep.
And that, you guys, this isn't me trying to get ratings and reviews on my show.
But it's a way to give a service that you don't realize means more than it may appear.
I mean, think about it, Mom. Just yesterday, you probably interacted with some type of service,
Absolutely.
a restaurant
Yep.
or a business or someone helping you with something. And you could stop and take probably 5 minutes and give 3 ratings and reviews.
Yes.
5 stars.
Yes.
You know?
And
And
I
so-
didn't give any reviews, but I have a story of that. Yesterday I'm trying to clean things out in my house. And so I had this big, huge hat of pennies. And so I wanted to get rid of the pennies. And so I went down to the bank and they have a little penny machine and it broke. And it was a pain to fix for the guy. He noticed that it was broken. He came right over and he spent a good amount of time fixing it so that I could get rid of my pennies.
There you go.
Now, I didn't give him a rating,
Right.
but I praised him. I just said, thank you so much for taking all this time. I appreciate it. I know it's been a hassle for you. You have been so willing and so kind,
Right.
Right.
That right there.
And
Yeah.
and
You could have just taken it and not said anything and
went
just
got my money from the
got
teller
your money
yeah.
and on with life.
Yeah.
But that leads to another one, which is praise. We can do it with technology. We can tell people how awesome they're doing.
Yeah.
But we can do it in person.
Yes.
And we can notice it, just like what you were talking about, Mom.
Yeah.
We can just voice up when people are awesome.
Yeah.
And I think our kids need more praise than they get.
I think it's easy when we're annoyed with them to think how they're bugging us.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to just naturally say, hey, I appreciate you doing this. I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah. I think our parents need more praise from their kids,
Mhm.
right, Mom?
Absolutely.
And this isn't an this isn't an unhealthy thing that I'm talking about of like, I need this in order to feel, but it's
Right.
genuine. Like you're awesome. Right.
Yes.
And we can say it to our family members. We can say it to our friends. I just think of my siblings and each one of them individually, how incredible they are.
Yes.
In their own unique ways. And like, do I voice that? Do I say that?
Yes. Yeah.
And my own kids and just to stop and be like, hey, and to notice specific things when you give that praise. So
right.
So it's not just like, hey, you're great.
You're great. Yeah.
It's like, whoa, you're great at that.
Yes.
It's like even my daughter, like picking up all the poo in the backyard from the dogs. Like,
yes.
You did such a good job. It is so clean out there. Like, I've never seen a kid do such a good job with that. That's amazing. Thank you.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
Because it means a little more when you're actually noticing
yes.
what's awesome and amazing.
The more specific, the better.
Yes.
Because they see it as real and
Yeah.
genuine.
Yeah.
When you're specific, you actually notice that one specific thing.
Yes.
Instead of, oh, you're a good kid.
Right. I think the voice inside of all of our heads beats us up enough.
Absolutely. I agree.
And it beats us up, Mom, by us thinking what other people are thinking about us. Do you understand what I mean?
Oh, yes, for sure. You're
Right.
describing me. Okay. I don't need any therapy.
I'm not doing therapy on my own, Mom. Trust me. But my point is like we're constantly thinking, oh, they're not thinking that I'm okay or
Yes.
enough, and
Yes.
so when another person comes around and says, oh my gosh, you're amazing.
Yes.
Look at that. You're awesome.
Yeah.
It's nice because it's a different voice than what is oftentimes in our
in
head.
our own heads.
Yeah.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that can give us a reminder too when we start getting in our own heads.
Yes.
that
that
I'm going to talk myself out of this.
I
This
have
is
another
ridiculous.
voice that from somebody else of like, I
Yes.
might not be what I think that I am.
Yeah.
And somebody else has voiced something different. Maybe I can view myself differently,
Yes.
which can change everything.
Right.
Right.
And isn't that not service to yourself also when you can catch yourself in that self-demeaning
Absolutely.
thinking and can say, no,
Right.
I am awesome.
Yes.
Right.
To actually catch it.
Yeah.
But
that's a gift to yourself.
Absolutely.
Service to yourself.
And we're not, I think service to yourself, we could do a whole other episode
probably
on.
could.
Yeah. All right. I got another one, Mom. And this is one that some people really struggle with and have a hard time with, yet I think it might be the most important and the best one. Listening. So empathy.
Yes.
So maybe the way you serve somebody today is you shut up and you open your ears and you nod your head and you feel with them and you validate their feelings. You understand them.
Yes.
You see their pain. Yeah. You hold their pain. That's a great way to love and serve somebody.
Oh, I absolutely love that, because I think so many times when we're having a conversation with someone else, we can turn them off about halfway through the conversation so that we can formulate what we're going to say back to them.
Yes. Make it about you.
Really great empathy.
Right.
To kind of make it about you or say something that might one up what they said. And so to just sit and listen and acknowledge and appreciate their opinions. Mm-hmm. There's a lot to that.
Yep. Hold space. Really, just hold space. And I think a lot of times our shame and our defenses and our stuff comes up and makes it difficult to hold that space.
It's true.
But you know what they say, Mom, in relationships, in marriage relationships, individuals always are trying to get what they want. And they want their partner to agree with them so that they can then agree and go get what they want.
Yes.
And the healthiest of relationships are the ones where they learn how to understand each other.
Yes.
And see each other's perspective.
Yeah.
And so it's not about like becoming the same person and then getting what I want. It's just about holding that space.
Yes.
And then those individuals in that relationship feel loved.
Yes.
And that relationship's really healthy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I make it sound so easy.
No, it really is not. It is not that easy. But if we could just remember to clarify what another person is saying, instead of just going into our own soapbox, clarify, make sure you understand what they're saying.
Right.
And that can really help a lot.
Too. All the reflective listening skills are important to listen and empathize. So to throw this one out there of like, hey, go do this today. If you really suck at reflective listening and holding space, then maybe what you need to do today to serve somebody else is to just practice one little reflective listening skill.
I like that.
Yeah. And don't expect yourself to hold space perfectly today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay. Moving right along. This is fun, Mom. Yeah.
It's not so bad. I'm feeling more comfortable now we're halfway through.
Yeah, good. I can tell you're loosening up a little here. So I got a text yesterday from a friend who said, "Hey, do you want to go to lunch sometime?" And I actually blew it off, and I didn't text him back. And then I was driving and I got this real strong prompting, this feeling of like, don't text him back, call him.
Okay.
And what's the difference between a text and a phone call?
Oh man, it's a lot easier to type something down and not have to try to keep conversation or think, I want to ask him this, but I don't want it to feel awkward, and I think often a phone call will feel, or we think it's going to be awkward.
Yes.
It's not usually as awkward as we think it's going to be, but it can feel awkward.
Or you'll get stuck on that phone call a lot longer than you want to be.
Right.
Or whatever, right? The energy that you have to expend to actually talk to somebody versus text somebody
is a lot bigger.
And I'm not saying texting is a bad thing. We were talking about that earlier. It's great. Send good text to people.
Absolutely.
But you are making more of a commitment when you make that phone call.
Right.
So anyways, I called my friend who had texted me earlier in the day, and he answered. His mom actually answered the call, and he was in the background, and I could hear him, and he's like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And his mom's like, "Hey, we just checked him into the ER. He's really sick."
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so he actually came over and got on the call, and I chatted with him for a little while, and I told him I loved him. And I just was so grateful that I actually followed through with that
Yes.
prompting to actually make a phone call.
Yeah.
And I would hope that it meant something to him, that while he's there in the ER really sick, that he got a call from a friend. You know?
I'm sure it was a great lift. You'd have to ask him for sure,
Right.
but I bet you if you asked, he
I would hope so.
really appreciated that.
Yeah, and it actually was a pretty quick call.
Yeah.
It was like 5-10 minutes.
Right. Right.
So
worth it.
yeah, and I think we all get that, like, hey, I should call so and so,
Yeah.
and we blow it off a lot.
Yeah.
And so, God, if you could leave a rating today for a business, if you could make a phone call, send a nice text, just those things right there, you might spend 20 minutes out of your day.
Yeah.
And it would change your day, and it would change the life of those that
Of
you
3
connect
people.
to. Yeah. So I got more, Mom. So
Yeah.
let's go for just a little longer, because I could go on and on here.
Okay.
Another one is to share your talent or your expertise.
Okay.
So we all have individual gifts. We all have superpowers, I believe, that others can't do.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't do for themselves what you can do for them. And I think of things like, and you got to be boundaried with this, Mom, because like I think of myself, like people are always asking me for some impromptu therapy.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And sometimes I really feel like I want to step in and I want to help. And then sometimes I feel like someone's kind of taking advantage of me, and that's when I refer them on to somebody else.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So you have to be sensitive to your own feelings about that.
Or else I
Where
can't
you're gonna
serve.
get valuable information that is needed right then.
Exactly. Or else I
Yeah.
can't serve authentically. And
Yes.
and I think of like I have a cousin who does a bunch of free dental work for people.
Yes.
I can't go to Joe Blow to get, a filling,
Right.
but I can go to him, and he's got all the equipment and he has all the skills, and he serves, and he's generous with his money and his time.
Yes.
And his talents. And he's changed a lot of lives just by doing some dental work, right?
For sure. I've been a recipient of that. And especially my husband, Mike, has been a recipient of that.
Right. And
Right.
same with a lot of people in our family.
He's so wonderful about it. I mean, he genuinely he knows he has a gift that
Right.
not many people have. And he wants to share that with his relatives. It's not like we have a small family.
Right.
Right.
Right. And he doesn't ask for things in return.
No.
Or yeah.
Yeah.
And like that's an example of somebody with an expertise.
Right.
And I think he needs to be boundaried with that as well, just like me in therapy.
You betcha.
Right.
Right.
I had a friend, I was remodeling a house, and there was this little weird framing thing I had to do. It was like a weird corner, and he has the equipment and he knows how to do it. And he showed up for 3 hours, busted it out, and did something that would have taken me I don't know if I would have ever got it done.
Well, and it would probably look like crap.
Yeah, it would have. Yeah. And he just huge help for me.
Yeah.
And his willingness to do that for me, just like my gratitude toward him and my love for him was just like, thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
you had a lot of people that really stepped up for you when
Big
you were
time.
doing that house.
Big time.
A lot of talented people.
Yep.
Yeah.
That just came through. And
Yeah.
one was my mom, who showed up
Yes.
and scraped wallpaper for 3 weeks. Is that your superpower? Scraping wallpaper?
That I wasn't even thinking about myself when I said that.
Oh, Mom, that was a lot of wallpaper.
Yeah, there was a lot of wallpaper, but I was thinking like the roofer and Russell.
I know.
The floor
Yeah.
And, just so many people, and that displays to you love.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
they sacrificed
Oh my gosh. I can't even.
to help you, and boy, that helps you feel loved.
Oh my gosh. So much.
Yeah.
And their willingness just I just am so grateful for
Yeah.
people. And okay, I got one last kind of category.
Okay.
And hopefully this is just getting you thinking, you guys, of different things that you can do. But the last one I got to bring up is kind of a spiritual category. And I might get a little out there with this one, but I believe that we can serve and give just energetically, through our thoughts, through our prayers, through our hopes, and through our just good vibes that we send to people. We ask, you see it out there when somebody's going through something hard, like, will you pray for me? Or
Yes.
will you pray for them?
Yes. I absolutely love that because I was reading an article that said, what good does it do to say prayers? Or say, oh, we'll pray for you. We hear of a tragedy and someone says, we'll pray for you. Prayers are with you. And if we don't do anything about it, then it doesn't do any good.
Right.
And I don't know that I totally agree with that. Because
I agree.
Always be there or help or do something physically.
Right.
But you can have them on your mind.
Right.
You can have them in your heart.
Right.
And you can have them in your prayers.
Right. Yes.
And I agree with that vibe.
Right.
I think spirituality is a sixth sense.
Right.
And so prayers, I think, can do good things.
We just had a family member go through a tragedy in Hawaii, and like a long ways away. And to be honest with you, Mom, I felt pretty helpless.
Right. Right.
You can give financially, you can do certain things, but like I wanted to just like do something to help him feel better and help his mom and dad. And I felt pretty helpless.
Right.
But one thing that I could do was pray and think about him, and just like, just think about the doctors working on him, and just kind of envision them doing good work and figuring this out. And
keep those positive vibes going.
Yeah.
When they're having to go through their hard times and getting scared and discouraged, just trying to keep the positive vibes. And they had a lot of them.
Right. And the people we pray for, they might never know that I was specifically praying for them.
Yes.
But they might know it because they just feel that energy and that comfort and come into their life. And I think it's a really selfless way to serve.
I do too.
You're just kind of calling on the power of God and
a higher power.
Yeah. So, all right. So quick review here. Okay. A challenge for anybody listening to this: leave one good rating or review. Okay. Make a phone call or a text message to somebody.
Okay.
Pray for somebody, and figure out what your magic is, what your talent is, and offer that to somebody. And then last one, just take 5 minutes and listen to somebody. And those are great ways to serve. And guess what? I shouldn't say this because it would be awesome if you just go do this stuff. But guess what? If you go do this stuff, you'll bless your own life.
Yes.
And you'll feel better, and life will get better. I promise you.
Yes. And I think it perpetuates service as well. When we give service, or we give a smile, or we write a text, or it helps them feel so good that they might go out and do it themselves. No question that happens. No question in my mind. So, all right, you guys, if this was helpful, please share it. This would be a funny one to share with people, because it's like, hey, you want to serve? But and also leave a rating and a review. So, all right, you guys, have a good day. We'll see you.